Hey everyone, for today's video, I'm going to be going over the new 6-star Emperor's kit, as well as giving my thoughts on whether or not you should summon for him. Starting with his kit, his slots are 6-star magic, 5-star defense, and 5-star physical or support. These are insanely good slots, and he's one of the few units I'd actually suggest using expert LBs for, as that support slot makes team survival significantly easier. The defense slot is also great for either survival or the defense light relic, and obviously LB6 for his magic true weapon. As for his skill, it gives 20 arts, for 8 seconds he gets flinch resist, and it has an 11-second CT. It's fairly okay, the art leaves something to be savored, although his passive makes up for it, and the flinch resist is definitely nice in harder content where that could be an issue. For his arts, he activates an effect depending on which sword mode he's in. The way that his sword mode is determined depends on which slot he's in. Slot 1 will give him the Skylight passive, Slot 2 Terramaster, Slot 3 Darkbringer, and the 4th slot rotates the swords from 1 to 3 in order. If in Slot 1, Skylight will increase allies' magic equip CT speed by 30%, and he gets 180% damage up to gods for 25 seconds. If he's in Slot 2, Terramaster will increase allies' support equip CT speed by 30%, and he'll get 180% damage to humans for 25 seconds. If he's in Slot 3, Darkbringer will increase allies' physical equip CT speed by 30% and increase his damage by 180% to demons for 25 seconds. In all, this art is very jam-packed with potential combinations, although unlike 5-star Emperor, it'll be harder to have it active while damaging, considering you need to art and then use your super art to damage. But there can be some very unique teams created, and if needed, Emperor can become your DPS. He's very versatile in that sense. For his true art, it does 60,000 light damage physical, and for 8 seconds, all allies get 10 arts a second. For 20 seconds, he reduces the enemy's damage resist by 60%, and if they're a human, demon, or god, it's 120% damage resist debuffed instead. This is another insanely good ability. On the outside, the 80 arts from a Type B art gener feels weak in 2024, but considering it's 10 arts a second, it's going to hit the team very quickly and allow much faster art rotations on the team. The debuff is also crazy considering it's literally just a free damage resist debuff by someone who's also providing arts gauge support. Just slap him onto any team as an art gener and now everyone deals significantly more damage just from having him debuffing. It's actually kinda nutty how strong of a debuff that is. Anyways, as for his super art, it does 150,000 light damage magic, and when used, all of the remaining equip CT on his equips are halved, and for 20 seconds, allies without status elements get 30% equip CT speed up. There's a lot going on here that's a bit hard to see at first. For starters, unlike his true art, Emperor's super art does magic damage, which means if you want to buff him damage wise, magic supporters are going to be the best to go to. Best case scenario, Stark Liza is going to juice him insanely hard. Secondly, the halving of his equip CT is so good because with equips that are harder to cycle, this makes it available to be consistently cycled as if it almost had a 100% uptime. And in the case of equips that have stackable buffs or debuffs, such as his true weapon or Shaltyr's Parasol, it'll make it much more effective on him when his equip usage is timed properly. And finally, the equip CT speed increase. Despite the wording of it being tied to allies without status elements, that doesn't make it a unique stackable condition and won't stack with someone like Stark Liza or Worgon Fenn's art. This isn't a huge problem considering if you're running him with Stark Liza, as you should, the team's equip CT speed is already going to be insane. But in scenarios you're not running him on a perfect team and you're using him as a general arts gauge support, access to equip CT speed buffing is definitely a nice addition to the wide variety of skills he already offers to his team. For his passives, he gets 7 arts a second when unaffected by status elements, and then each position for his blade slots are considered passives too. I'm not too worried about the technical lack of passives, because the 7 arts a second is already insane, and he's more than capable enough as is. Now for his true weapons, yes, plural, he has 2. His first is the very first 6-star true weapon, True Runemaster. With a 50-second CT, it increases magic damage by 50% and reduces the enemy's magic resist by 30%, which is stackable. If used by 6-star Emperor, he increases his damage by 80%. A quick note, with this equip being a 6-star equip, there's 2 things to be aware of. 1, as it's a 6-star equip, that means it can only be equipped by a unit at least at LB6, since there needs to be an LB6 magic slot available to actually use it. so that does make it slightly harder to use on a wider variety of units. And that also means that if your Emperor isn't at least LB6, you can't even use it on him. And a second thing to take note of, this equip requires level 6 magic LBs, meaning that without them, this equip is going to be significantly worse. You could use the ones from Summoner's Road that they give for free, or if you're a whale and have a million rainbow gems saved up, you could claim the 5 free ones from the Alchemist, although that'll only bring you to LB4 out of 5, meaning you either need to pull one from the equip banner, or use a 6-star magic LB to get to LB5. Now that we have all of that info out of the way, let's move on to his other true weapon, the 5-star physical, Volcom and Dry. With a 50-second CT, it increases own light damage by 40% for 30 seconds and is stackable. When used by 6-star Emperor, it increases his attack by 50%. Both of these true weapons are very solid. To get the full damage potential of Emperor, you'd obviously want both true weapons, but out of the two, Rune Master is easily better. And if you LB7 your Emperor, chances are you'll probably use a support slot instead of the physical slot anyways. If you really care about getting Emperor to do the most amount of damage that he can, then get Volcom and Dry, as the damage can stack quite fast to maybe like 2 to 3 stacks, which is an extra 120% damage on top of the 50% attack passively and everything else that he gets. But they're both not necessarily needed. They don't really add to his support, mainly his damage, but having access to one or both, namely the magic equip, will allow him to devastate enemies. In all though, this new Emperor is quite the powerhouse. He does so much in his kit and has access to so much support that you could pretty much use him everywhere. Obviously he'll work best in mono light paired with big names like Stargod Liza or Hazuki, but he could be placed wherever his support is needed, because as we saw, he's able to art gen, debuff, provide equip CT speed buffs, more specific equip CT buffs that stack with his super art, as well as being able to function as a DPS himself. If that wasn't enough, he has a defense slot, so endgame content becomes a lot easier with just him existing. His presence in a team significantly decreases your chances of dying essentially. He's definitely one of the best units in the game, and on mono light it becomes one of, if not the best team in the game. I'd suggest you go for him if you have the resources, although of course, if you can't pity, don't go beyond your first 50 unless you can finish out your pity. Also make sure you do the Alch banner, as your chances are significantly better there. And with Hazuki being on the banner has that much more value, so you could build yourself a solid light team if you're able to grab the two of them, but at the very least, just Emperor. Let me know your thoughts about Emperor though, and if you had any disagreements and whatnot. His release should be a fun time for the game though, and I'll definitely upload my summons if I can get him. Be sure to let me know if you're going to summon for him or what your strategy is going to be, if any, or if you're just going to be pulling out the almighty credit card. Anyways, be sure to like and sub if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.